Hi, welcome to the Bulletin Board Heroes here on Share Talk on Monday, the 21st of May. Starting off with Angus Energy, and after quite a few months of basing around the 5 to 6 pence zone, looks as though the shares are finally picking up here in a sustained manner. We had a full storm move at the beginning of April, but on this occasion, uh, we look to have a reasonable chance of heading towards the December resistance line projection at 13 pence over the next month or so, maybe up to as high as the 200-day line, currently just below 16 pence as well, if there is a decent bit of momentum gathering behind the stock. Only back below the 50-day average of 6.99 pence really delays or questions the recovery argument here. Not so many questions as far as Borders and Southerners concerned. Looks like we've got a nice consolidation, or sort of bull flag really pattern emerging at the moment. The sort of triangle one can draw as well. Best way forward here probably is to wait for a break through the 5 pence level, that resistance line from last week. That should mean that we're looking at mid-move consolidation that takes the shares towards the 7 or 8 pence zone, heading towards that resistance line from November, and only really back below 4 pence at this stage, and maybe under the 50-day average at 3.69, really delaying or questioning the move higher here. But could be something quite explosive if we break through the 5 pence level, given the way that the slack is being taken up at the moment. On to a blast from the past, Metal Tiger, where we've had a couple of days here of breaking this resistance line from October last year, around 2.3 pence. Shares have made reasonable progress since then. The ideal scenario here is that while we're above this resistance line, 2.3, 2.2 pence, we could head higher towards the line of resistance as high as 3.4 pence over the next month or so. Stop loss really just back below the 200-day moving average. That's the black line there at 2.12 pence. Onto a stock which has taken a long time to get going, months, maybe years even, as far as the recovery scenario here is concerned. But it's a situation that looks reminiscent of Borders and Southern, actually, a couple of stocks ago, with this consolidation here above old resistance. Looks like a mid-move consolidation, which could take the shares much higher. We saw a similar type of move, or similar type of structure on turn a few weeks back, so maybe people remember that. But best case scenario here is 80 pence, which would be a 2016 resistance line projection target. That could be hit over the next couple of months. Obviously, if you're cautious on the stock, you want to see a break above the initial May high at 45 pence, but that looks like a done deal given the strength of the price action at the moment. Stop loss at this stage really back below 35 would probably do the trick, but 80 pence seems to be quite an exciting kind of target there. On to Savannah Petroleum, where we have stock poking its head above the 200-day moving average at 32.25 pence. That's the black line there. We had one of my favorite setups with the gap through the 50-day moving average after a bear trap for the shares towards 26, and that's all held. Consolidation has been sideways or up since then, so that is also rather bullish. If you're cautious on the stock, maybe wait for a weekly close above 35 pence. That was the initial high of May, and above that, then we would head towards, obviously, the 44 pence resistance of last year. Best case scenario target would be towards 55 or 60 pence, which is that resistance line from 2017. Finishing off with a stock which is probably one of the hotter ones around in terms of private investor interest, Upland Resources. Here we can see that shares gapping up today in a nice way, a bit like I've described with the other shares, the most bullish shares here today. Consolidation here either sideways or up since the break above the 50-day moving average at the beginning of the year. So this does look like it's really on course for a decent run. Also the price action at or above the 50-day average, that's at 2.72 pence. While we hold above 3 pence, which is the floor of this February price channel, the target here is high as 6 to 7 pence over the next month or so. That's it for me. More updates later in the week.